Well, it's that time of year again. It's about time to start making vision boards. That being said, I have a feeling that a lot of you are going to make some of the same mistakes that I made years ago when I first started doing vision boards. So I figured, let me tell you the mistakes I made so that you don't make the same mistakes. Have you signed up for your vision board party or got together with your girlfriends or signed up for uh, Facebook groups and things like that to do your vision board? If you haven't, then you would be like me. I remember when I first saw or read about the idea of vision boards, right? And I was like, oh, I think it was from the movie The Secret. And then everyone was doing vision boards and things like that. And so I fell into that category. I said, oh, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to read up on it. I'm going to create my first one. And I remember I had the big poster board and the magazines and all that. So I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to manifest some things for my life. This is going to be fantastic, right? It's going to be awesome. But what I didn't realize and what I had not taken the time to do is to shed some of my past mentalities about myself and do that self-reflection, which I talked about in my other video about upgrading your life. I had not gone through that process. So when it came time to create a vision for my life, a vision board, cut out stuff and put it up, what do you think I was creating? What do you think was on my board? I'll tell you exactly what was on my board. It was everything that other people told me I should be or want to attain, like what their values were and what their level of success looked like. And so for me, that was my very first learning lesson about the vision board process, is that at times, if you have not taken the time before that, like the pre-work is so important, because otherwise what's on your board, that's not really your board, that's everyone else's visions and things like that. So that was the first mistake I made when I first started doing vision boards. And of course, it eventually, I'm going to tell you the rest of the learning lessons I got, or mistakes. Call them mistakes, lesson learned, really. Lesson learned. They made me think that, oh, this doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. But I wasn't aware of what I needed to change, So I just told you my first lesson learned, or first thing that I was doing incorrectly, is that I was superimposing what people had given me as their desires, what that success looked like, whether it's the job, the house, that type of thing, affluence, all of those, how that had been given to me and defined for me. That's the pictures that ended up on my vision board. So that was incorrect, right? That's number one. In doing that led to mistake number two. Mistake number two is that when your board is filled with other people's visions and for your life, or other people's impressions on you, like old paradigm stuff that's in your subconscious mind, when that stuff from other people goes in here and then you put it on your board, you don't have the emotional connection to it. And so that feeling and that emotion and that drive and that, like, I can see myself living in this as I am putting this thing on the paper, that feeling, you're not able to achieve it because why? You don't have an emotional connection with those things. You may have an idea of stuff you don't want, but if the stuff you're putting up on your vision board is stuff that other people have assigned to you, or things that society told you need to be doing at your age, those types of things, then that is a mistake, because you're not going to be able to put the feeling behind it. The envisioning process is very much feeling. It's not just nice pictures. It's not even just repetitive words. It is the feeling behind it. And I had no emotional connection or feeling behind anything I was putting on my board, because those things did not, honestly, they weren't coming from me, like truly me. So that's mistake number 2. So of course, after doing that and completing the board, and nothing happened and nothing changed, I assumed the process didn't work. I just assumed it didn't work. I was like, oh, this is just a bunch of, whatever. It's just the latest fad that people are on. And truth be told, that was mistake number 3. Mistake number 3 was not knowing that the process works. The way that I was doing the process was where there was a disconnect. So I don't want that to happen to you. So here are my suggestions for your visioning board, your visioning process. When it's getting towards the end of the year, and that's when people are typically thinking about that. But I want to give you a few more things to think about to get you, so you don't get trapped in the same things that I got trapped in back then when I first started doing my vision board. So here are my tips for making sure moving forward you can input the most amount of power and feeling into your visioning process as far as your vision boards. The first thing I'll tell you is do the self-work first. It's not something you can get around. You have to do the self-work in order to find out what your true desires, what you truly want to manifest are. Don't worry about what other people put on their board. And this is why, for me, my visioning board process, unless you have someone, I like it to be unadulterated, right? So I prefer to do it on my own and not worry about this person has that amount of monetary wealth on their board by this certain time frame, or this person has a certain desire to look a certain kind of way, or have a certain relationship. I do not want my board to be influenced by cues, visual cues, or even suggestions by other people, if that makes sense. So I prefer to do it by myself. And I suggest you do the same. I know that goes totally against like the vision board parties and all of that type of thing. I know I am an outsider on this, or an outlier when it comes to that. You need to be you, yourself, and that's it. Okay? The next thing I'll tell you is you want to make sure that what you're putting on there stretches you. If it seems like it's something a little too easy to achieve or to create, think bigger, think bolder, expand more. Don't be afraid to put something, come back a little bit later and make it bigger, right? Grander. And that doesn't mean the thing itself needs to be big. It needs to be your take on what that means. And I'm going to dig a little bit deeper real quick into that. I'm not saying that you put a small house and then you put a bigger house. That's not like size-wise. That's not what I mean. What I mean is maybe it was for you to work a specific job, and instead of your next biggest thing, or the version of that, the expanded version is not to get the advanced job. The expanded version is for you to find a career where you actually work less and make more money. Okay? That's like the expanded vision, right? It's not always, I don't want you to think linear of stair stepping when it comes to bigger, right? When it comes to expanding your vision, it's like this. right? All different ways. It's not like this. So that is my next suggestion, is that I've learned that what it means to expand your vision has different meanings, and it's not linear. And that needs to be reflected on what you put on your board. Yes, you can have specific numbers. Yes, you can have specific time frames. I'm not saying don't have those things. Make sure that they are stretched, though. They need to be something that makes you almost like I don't know if this is real, then you're on the right track. If it seems like you're like, oh, that's kind of, I don't know if I can do that. That's the purpose. And that's why you're doing what you're doing. The last thing I would say and tip that I've done for myself, like the last year and a half, is two things. One is my vision board is now electronic and it goes with me everywhere. Before, we're always like creating, the boards. And yes, you could maybe take a picture of it and have it in your phone. But I know for me, my phone goes everywhere with me, whether I'm traveling, whatever. My phone is always with me. And I want my vision board to be in my visions and my reminder, that suggestion, to be there all time. So I know some people have created wallpaper on their phone. I don't have it as wallpaper. Mine is multiple pages. It's not going to fit just on a wallpaper. Mine is multiple pages. I created my vision board as pages in Canva. Free version of Canva is fine. It allows me to have a page for each part of my visioning process, whether it's relationships, whether it's a business, whether it's a personal goal for myself, maybe it's travel. I have a page for each one of those categories. And then that way, I think mine is like, I don't know, I think it's like 9 pages in my phone, and I can look at them every single morning, or I can look at them on a whim in the middle of the day, because my board is always with me. And I suggest you do the same. Don't just put it and then put it up on the wall or put it in your closet where you're going to see it in the morning. We have a very mobile lifestyle, and especially if you're traveling a lot and things like that, the last thing you want is for it to be out of focus. So mine is always right here. Vision board is right here. My last tip is that I used to do things in a calendar season, like it's November, December. It's time for me to do my visioning process, those types of things. Everyone else is doing that at that time. And although you can do goal setting and set up your systems to make those things happen, I now update my vision board all the time. I have things on there that once they happen, it could be in the middle of the year, it doesn't even matter. I can change it out for something else. I allow myself to always be in the visioning process. And what happens with that is that I'm not on a specific cycle. Now, if it helps you to plan around your birthday, or, it gives you time to reflect. I guess for me, I used to do that. And then I moved into a cycle of I'm always doing that, because things are always evolving and I can always add something to my vision board. And just because I'm working on this one thing does not mean that I can't have a thought or a vision in a specific category that needs an update or needs to be added. So always visioning and always adding and always refining. Now that's the place that I'm in. And how I do it for my vision board is also a reflection of how I do it in my life. Like, you can always change course, and you can always refine what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So I hope you found this video useful. I just want to keep other people from making some of the missteps that I did at the very beginning of my vision board journey. And if you like this video, please make sure that you like it and subscribe to the channel as we continue to be on this journey together and find ways to design a life that we love to live. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.